meeting with National Security Council today. The country's Defense and Intelligence Organization have been put on alert and charged not to allow the country slide into a state of anarchy. Some very abductees are also returned. We'll look into that tonight. And the former Senate President Bukola Saraki says the problems of the country is beyond what the APC alone can handle. He's asking the power of the center to reach out across party lines. Hello everyone, welcome to Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbaloya, Channels Television's global headquarters here in Lagos. So much to you tonight on the security matter. Tonight we have a special guest for you to give us a sense of what is happening in the country around the security situation. But before we get into that, let's get out some of your political roundup stories.
The war of words and rift between Governors Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State and Samuel Otom of Benue State appears to have been settled after the two men met with the River State Governor Nyesom Wike and the Adamawa State Governor Amadu Fintiri in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. After a closed-door meeting at Governor Wike's private residence, they insisted that their argument over comments made by the Bauchi State Governor on the bearing of arms by herders was for the good of the country, not to cause ethnic crisis. A former presidential candidate of the AAC, Omoyele Sowore, appeared in court today, accompanied by a spiritual ally. A prosecution witness told a magistrate court that Mr. Sowore and 4 other defendants were arrested in the early hours of January 1st, 2021 for conspiracy, unlawful assembly and inciting public disturbance. Before adjourning to the 7th of May 2021 for the continuation of trial, Chief Magistrate Mabel Shegun Bello varies the bail condition of the 2nd to 5th defendants by granting them leave to travel outside Abuja until the next adjourned date. The House of Representatives is asking the federal government to urgently secure the release of Bulus Yakura, a pastor who was kidnapped by Boko Haram in Borno State on December 24, 2020. The matter was raised as a motion of urgent public importance by Amaju Jaha during plenary. Pastor Yakura was said to have been abducted when the insurgents attacked a village in Chibok, killing at least 7 people. Since then, 2 videos have emerged showing the pastor calling on the government to secure his release.
I'll tell you that an advice coming from the former Senate President Bukola Saraki after a PDP reconciliation meeting with a former President Olusegun Obasanjo at his home in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. Senator Saraki speaks after the meeting on the solutions to the challenges facing the country and also touched on the reports on the national chairman of the PDP, Uche Secondus.
What is important for us now, as I keep on repeating, is that these issues are issues that should involve everybody. I think that when we talk about kidnapping or we talk about sense of belonging, these are issues that cross party lines. And what is required now is for government to provide leadership in bringing all stakeholders together. Let us discuss and see how we can address some of these issues. I know it's a great, we are very hopeful for the future of this country. We are very hopeful for a future that everybody will have a sense of belonging. But I think it's important that we all must be able to be on the table and discuss. We can tap into a lot of resources. Even on the issue of security, there are a lot of people with a lot of experience that we can. And I said that 2 or 3 times in the past. That my advice to government this time is that this problem is a huge problem to just be left to just a ruling government and a ruling party. I think it's the time where opposition, ruling party, our international friends, private sector, all of us must come on a round table because the challenges before us are enormous and we need to address it. As we talk about A lot of politicians, we talk about 2023. We still have 2 years before that. And it is our responsibility, all of us, to see that during those 2 years, we all work to address that. But the initiative must come from government. I think once government does that, then my own advice is that everybody that has something to contribute should be able to work together and see how people will have a sense of belonging. And part of that sense of belonging is to be on the table, to be able to discuss the way forward for this country.
Well, as part of a conversation on resolving the problems of this country, because we are at that point that every idea that is progressive, that is reasonable, need to be brought to the table to move this country forward. So today, President Muhammadu Buhari declared Zamfara State a no-fly zone, just as he also announced a ban on all mining activities in Zamfara State to curb the rising insecurity in the area. Don't forget that earlier this morning, we got the good news of the return of the abductees from the government school, the girls that were abducted. The National Security Advisor, Major General Babangana Monguno, disclosed this to State House correspondent after a 5-hour National Security Council meeting presided over by President Buhari at the presidential villa in Abuja. General Mungono also stated that all non-state actors have been placed under surveillance as the federal government will not hesitate to use connective means to restore normalcy in the country. The NSA also said that the country's defense and intelligence organization have been put on alert and charged not to allow the country to slide into a state of anarchy. He went further to give the president's marching order to the new service chief to reclaim all areas under the control by bandits, insurgents, and kidnappers.
His Excellency the President has approved, based on our recommendation, the imposition and enforcement of a ban on all mining activities in Zamfara State with immediate effect until further notice. He has directed the Honorable Minister of Defense and the National Security Advisor to deploy massive military and intelligence assets to restore normalcy to that part of the country. He has also approved that Zamfara State be declared a no-fly zone with immediate effect. Now, all non-state actors that have been causing problems for the innocent peoples, not just in Zamfara State or the Northwest Zone, but also the Northeast and other parts of the country and the South-South, have been placed under surveillance by the intelligence agencies. We've had a lot of reports coming in, collusion with people from all walks of life. Therefore, both the defense and intelligence organizations have been charged that while we look forward to having a peaceful, non-kinetic resolution, we will not allow this country to drift into state failure. And with effect from today, the new service chiefs have been given directives by the Minister of Defense, conveyed by the President to the Minister of Defense, to reclaim all areas that have been dominated by bandits, by kidnappers, and other scoundrels and scallywags. Already the President has given directives to the military and the intelligence organizations to trail and flush out all the people that have been on our watch list. And I can assure you there's quite a handful of people on our watch list. They will be trailed, they will be rooted out, and they will be brought to book, they will be prosecuted, and they will be made an example of.
Those are very strong directives. They've been ruled out by the National Security Advisor, Babangana Mungono, himself a general. Let's talk to our special guest tonight on the program. I'm being joined by the governor of Nasarawa State, Governor Abdullahi Sule. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight on the program. And let me begin by asking you, as a governor, you definitely will have more insight on some of these things that are going on in the country. Perhaps I should give you an idea of the pulse of an average Nigerian, the news of the situation in Dikwa in Borno State, and the activities of the insurgents there, the kidnap of students that we saw twice, two kidnaps that we saw in 2 weeks. It's given a sense of worry to a lot of Nigerians. Some thoughts about the fact that maybe security of the country is falling apart.
Thank you very much, Sean, and thank you for having me. Definitely, security of the country is not falling apart. The security of the country is not falling apart. The security of the country is not falling apart. It's a time leaders of this country are up to the task. They are doing the best they can based on the situation they find themselves. You can see every time we have these kind of problems, actions are taken and decisions are made, consultations are made. You know, I saw earlier where somebody is trying to make it political, that this is beyond APC. Indeed, it is beyond any political party. The situation we have today involves all stakeholders. When we had an emergency meeting of all the governors, party line was not discussed. It was all the governors of the various parties, the governors of the nation. When the Senate has these kind of meetings, it's for all the senators, irrespective of their party. When the House of them has issues, they discuss everything. Now, for instance, right here in Lafia, in Nasarawa State, yesterday we had an emergency security meeting. Traditional rulers were involved, all the security agencies were involved. Some major key stakeholders that we believe will be able to assist us were involved. So yes, we are going through some very difficult times, but nobody says it's going to be easy, because usually, you know, some nations at one point or the other go these kind of trying times, and then with the kind of efforts that are being put forward, you know, we cannot say security is falling apart. Definitely not. Security is on task and is working, and we are arresting people that are doing this, and we are getting these kind of children that are kidnapped released. You know, at every time it happens, most of the leaders don't go to sleep until that happens. So that's the situation we find ourselves.
Governor, we've seen the release of the school girls in Zamfara, which happened earlier today. Good news for families and, in fact, the nation. What lesson do you think these are thought the leaders of the northern region of the country, which, of course, the Northern Elders Forum has spoken about the need for governors and the leaders of that region to come up with ideas that can better secure the region. But what lesson would you say these are thought the leaders of the northern region?
I think whether the Northern Elders Forum says that or not, the governor started thinking about this long time ago. If you remember, 6 months ago, when the Northern governors met in Kaduna, we came up with some of these decisions. You know, we look at the economy of the North, we look at the causes of some of these problems, we look at the hardest farmers' crisis that is going on, and then we decided to come up with some issues and some solutions and how to approach them. For instance, we said the best way, you know, is to ensure that we introduce grazing. We stop all these herders going back and forth, up and down with their old-fashioned system, because this is an old-fashioned system. But before we stop, we have to provide a solution. And what is the solution? We came up with different programs. For instance, we came up with the National Livestock Transformation Plan just yesterday between 6 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. The Vice President actually had a meeting with about 7 of us governors, and we discussed that, and we were able to come up with the states that are going to be pilot. And I'm happy to tell you that Nasarawa State is one of those states that will do the pilot. We are providing land, and this land we are going to be able to provide so that we can secure all these herders in one location. You know, some states are given up to 100,000 hectares. Some states don't have even 1 hectare to give. But it is going to work out the same thing. And I keep saying that it doesn't have to be every state. Today, Saudi Arabia is getting its meat, its milk, its other things actually raised in places like Mexico. So it's not anything new. We are not doing anything new in Nigeria. We are coming up with plans that will do some of these crises. Most of these grazing reserves today that are not utilized, especially here in the north, most of them have become hideouts for some of these bandits. By the time we utilize them, we put some of these bandits under check. They have no places to go to. And those are the kind of things we continue to do. So every time we say something, we try to provide solutions. Just last week, we had for 2 days, of the Northern Governors. The Northern Elders Forum was there. The Ario Consultative Forum was there. Our traditional rulers were there. Everybody was there to give their own solutions. And these elders were there also to give their own. About 7 committees made their presentations about a way forward on how to reduce some of these crises. And every one of them were taking an action. So it is not that the leaders are sleeping. No, the leaders are up to the task. They are working day and night. But you see, these criminals, they are hit and run. They are not criminals that confront you. When you hit them, when they actually carry out an activity, say in Nasarawa, before morning on motorcycles, they are already passing Niger. They are somewhere in Zamfara or Katsina and the rest of that. When they commit crimes in Katsina, when you follow them next time, they follow all these forests and they know their ways. So those are the kind of criminals you are dealing with.
All right.
A lot of people are on the mind they're facing.
All right. Governor, let's take a breather. And when we come back, I'd like to get your reaction on some of the directives of President Buhari and the way forward for Nigeria. Don't go anywhere, everyone. We'll be right back shortly. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Governor Abdullahi Sule, Governor of Nasarawa State, has been talking to us. And since that meeting with President Buhari with the National Security Council, we have for you information that 7 aid workers have been abducted by Boko Haram insurgents in Dikwa local government area of Borno town, some 90 kilometers east of Maiduguri. And we understand also that there is a new leadership of the Operation Lafia Dole in Maiduguri, who is taking our position there, led by a brigadier general. But let's get some views on the way forward. Governor Sule is with us tonight. Governor, let me get your view on some of the decision of President Buhari today as he gave his security commanders today. And part of it is that there won't be any, he declared a no-fly zone on Zamfara State. Give us a sense of what this means. You're a governor, you understand what this means generally, economically, physically, of course, when they say there's no fly zone.
Yeah, I definitely understand, and I think that's the right decision to make. If you remember, one of the problems that we've been facing in Zamfara and some of these other places where mining activities is going on, there are a lot of rumors about those who are actually igniting these problems in Zamfara are those who are interested in the mining of the gold that is there, and then a lot of this. But I think the government wanted to take a lot of time and understand what is going on there before they impose the no-fly zone. I think the no-fly zone is even overdue. So imposing it today is fantastic, it's excellent. At least it will bring out most of those people who are hiding under whatever guides and then taking care of some of these mining, because it's a lot of illegal mining. So it is not even anything that will affect the economy of the state. Because the mining we're talking about here, it is not legal mining where the state is making any revenue or something. Majority of it is actually illegal mining. And we've been told that most of the times, they are able to take out some of their mining assets, by air. So if there is going to be a ban, it helps to reduce some of the things that are happening right there. So if you are talking of affecting the economy, I doubt if it is going to affect the economy of Zamfara much.
Okay, I'm asking that question, of course, a pre-conversation with you, you have your idea of what the decision has been made at the level of the governors and some of the advice they have taken to the center. For example, in your state, there is exploration of tantalite, iron ore, and tin. And if this kind of ban is being made, you're saying that there won't be any economic consequence.
No, in my state is a little bit different. Remember, in Nasarawa State, since we came in, we tried as much as possible to formalize most of these mining activities. So majority, I won't say all, but majority of the mining companies, such as Kenyans, such as Midwestern, we know who they are, we know where they are going, and they don't fly. They go by road. So we follow them and we know what they are doing and we are monitoring. But you see, mining activities that you see helicopters going to mining sites and things like that, there is hanky-panky there. It's not straight. So for us, even without no-fly zone, we don't experience that. We don't experience flying to the mining sites here in Nasarawa State because we have identified the mining sites. We know where they are. We have our communities watching them. We have Ministry of Environment watching them, and we go there. So if they say no-fly zone for mining activities in Nasarawa, it will affect our economy zero when it comes to mining.
Only yesterday, Governor Sule, you said that the bandits recently dislodged from the western zone of Nasarawa State have regrouped in some communities in 3 local government areas. You also said that there are influx of herders from the southwest. Give us an understanding of when this started and how far this has gone in your state.
What we do in Nasarawa, everyone has his own approach to security challenges. In Nasarawa, what we do is that the moment we see the bandits coming in, we actually alert our people. We let them know. These people are coming to your side. The information that is there, and then the people now, the communities, actually rise up to the occasion, and the communities also fight them. So when we make those kind of announcements, we are making it intentionally. Now, you ask me how it came about. It came about starting from 2016, when some of the remnants of Darussalam from Niger State were actually dislodged. So they ran to Nasarawa, and nothing happened. They kept staying there until more and more of them kept coming. Now they started coming even from Maiduguri and the rest of that, and now became partly, loyal even to the Boko Haram leadership. So that's how it started. And then when it became very impossible, they started acting with a lot of arrogance and then a lot of hostility. We reported the matter and we sought for assistance from Mr. President, and that assistance was given. So there was a combined operation of the military, the Navy, the police, and everybody, and they were able to dislodge them. If you remember, that's the time that we were able usually to take hostage of over 900 women and children, which we dispersed to their various locations. So these same bandits that were dislodged from that location, those that were not killed, started now going to our border with Benue. Then we alerted our people, we alerted the security agencies, we dislodged them from there. Then they ran and then started going to some other places. So because they can't go to Borno anymore, they are blocked in most cases. They can't go to some of the northwestern states, so they have actually been blocked here. So they keep running from one end to another, and we keep following them. And every time, they follow them, they kill some of them. Just a few days ago, it's not even the police. It's our vigilante that went and killed a few of them, got about 130 cows that they stole, and then a lot of rifles, AK-47, AK-49, and then brought them forward. So they dislodged them from that location around Bagobe. So now they have gone around Gitata, which is the border in Karu local government, the border with the FC.
All right.
And we're also tracing.
Yeah. Oh, Governor, there are a few issues I'd like you to touch on before the end of the program. Just a few minutes left. In the midst of all of this security situation in the country, the clamor for state police had come up severally and has been suggested as perhaps a major solution to some of these issues. And this is a political move. This is a political decision, isn't it? But isn't this the kind of restructuring that the country needs urgently, Governor Sule?
You see, the issue of restructuring in this country, somebody who has worked in the oil and gas sector for a very long time and who lived in Lagos for most of my working career life and then live in Port Harcourt and now living in the north, I will tell you restructuring means different to different people. This is the truth. Now, if you talk about this idea of the state policemen, okay, they have applied that in the Southwest. Is it working? Okay, so the issue really is not political. The problems we have in Nigeria are not political problems. I think the northern governor said, yes, we are not going to do state police, but we have nothing against it. So the southwestern governors did the state police, the Omoteco. Now you can ask yourself, is it working? If it is working, then we copy from it and go ahead and work on it. These are the issues that actually is going on. So everybody can tell you stories, but I think the issues we are facing at the moment, are issues of national concern, are issues that involves everybody. They cannot be left in the hands of somebody. For us in Nasarawa, we're using everybody. The communities are helping us, the vigilante are helping us, the police are helping us, and that's how we are tackling our security challenges in Nasarawa State. So it's beyond politics.
All right.
And I think that's
yeah. So on a final note, Governor, we just have about 30 seconds to the close of the program. Ransom, negotiation, these are some of the issues that have come to play when these abductions are happening. We've seen about 4 of them in the last few years. Give us a sense of what is needed to be done. Some say, oh, don't negotiate. Zamfara State, for example, is saying, we will negotiate, we will give them amnesty. Some states are saying, we will not give them amnesty. From the governor's point of view and the northern governor's point of view, what is the way out? You just have about 30 seconds to the end of the show.
The northern governor's point of view is similar to what you said. One, as leaders, we are not going to throw in the towel and leave to the dictate of militants. We will not do that. However, if anybody is going to negotiate for whatever it is, that is their own problem. So we say we have nothing against both the kinetic and the non-kinetic approach. There are times where actually, the non-kinetic have worked. Like in Zamfara right now, the one you said. It was not kinetic. The people were not killed. They were able to release, but through negotiations. They didn't pay any money. In Niger State, when I went there, last time that they had the kit, they were negotiating different terms. Amnesty, they wanted a bus to help them. They wanted this. They wanted to be forgiven and the rest of that. There was no question of money. So as governors, we can't close the door and say that it's just one-way traffic. It's a box canyon, one way in, one way out. No. We are ready to approach from both ways for those who are honest enough to give in. And I give you a good example quickly. In Nasarawa State, we have one Ujuba Zamfari a year ago who said he was going to give in. We started negotiating with him. He refused, at the middle of the road and ran back. And then we went and he was taken out. He was killed. So these things that actually you see in true.
Governor Abdullahi Sule, Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, thank you for your time tonight on Politics Today, right here on Channels Television.
Thank you, Shaun. It's always a pleasure. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure having you tonight. Well, and that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm sure Kimberly. Bye-bye.